Evening, guys and girls. Back for another FPL show, and we've got a deadline in about half an hour, guys. So hopefully you haven't left yourselves too much to do because there's probably going to be a backlog on the FPL website. But yeah, I'll see you on the flip side of this. I didn't want to start that again. How you going, guys and girls? Like I said, the deadline is in about half an hour, and if you're like me and you've got a load of flags in your team, then there's still a lot to do. I'm gonna share my screen with you, guys. What I want to know is anyone in the chat. If there's anyone in the chat, first off. Second of all, did you make your transfers early for game week 21 like I did, and have left yourselves with more flags, more questions and answers, or have you held off? And if you have held off, why have you held off? Let me find the screen and get this ready for you to see how I ended last week. So add this to stage and let me go into it. There we go. Right, so this was after all that, I managed to get a red flag last week. This was my team, and this is what it's left me with. So my one thing that really cost me, and I thought I was doing all right. I initially I had my captaincy on Watkins, and I thought I was doing all right until the very last game of game week, and Salah gets a 16-point haul. Didn't captain Palmer, but didn't have any intention of captaining Palmer last week. Left Isak's points on the bench, and Jesus has let me down again, and he's another one with a flag. So we got to have a look at these flags now. So I made a few changes. So I went early to avoid the price rises. Now I was going to do a video recommending that you guys don't do that, and I was still going to do it myself. I knew I was going to do it myself because of my plans to get Haaland back in and Salah potentially back in if I lose Salah, but we'll talk about that in a second. Let me just see if there's any of you guys actually in the chat, or if I'm just talking to myself as normal. Hey, all right, Nikki, you got loads to do. Nikki, you're always welcome to jump on with me if you want to, mate. But give me an outline of what your team's looking like. Quick question here: wild card or free hit? No, not this week, but potentially next week, because we've had some news this afternoon about a guaranteed double game week for Man City in game week 25. So potentially you could be looking at doing playing your wild card in the next game week round. And there's a little bit of a gap because of this game week being spread out. So as Nottingham Forest fans, we know we're not playing this weekend, we're playing the following weekend. So there's 5 games this weekend, 5 games next weekend, all in the same game FPL game week, but they've been split over 2 weeks, which is why I'll show you that some of my decisions I'm not going to make just yet because I want to give the players enough time. Yeah, so it's been split into 2 game weeks, but we've had news today that game week 25 will be a double game week. So the Man City Brentford game, which was postponed obviously for when Man City went to World Club Championships, is being played in game week 25, which will give Man City a double game week of Chelsea at home and Brentford at home. So 2 home games. There's potentially going to be also a double game week for Liverpool in game week 25. Let's stop that for now. In game week 25. But that's less likely because game week 26, if they get to the League Cup final, they could potentially put their double game week into 25 as well. So we could see a Liverpool double game week as well as a Man City double game week, which for me, and we'll talk about chip strategy. I'll touch on chip strategy because there's a lot to talk about. What I will do, I'll do a special video just around what I think we should do with our chips. But my main point is hold off any wildcard plans because by the time we get to game week 22, we'll have a lot more information. So we'll have information about other potential double game weeks, game week blanks coming up, and it'll be much easier for you to strategize how you use your chips. So, Nikki, for now, I would hold off. I wouldn't use it this game week. I'd potentially use it next game week, but before that, I will put out a video talking about chip strategy and when to best use it because there's a lot of factors to take into account going forward because of the teams in the FA Cup as well. So the FA Cup quarterfinals. So potentially there's some blank game weeks already lined up. So you need to also be able to navigate those. So you've got, if you still got all your chips, there'll be times best place to use your free hit, for example, your bench boost and your triple captain. Now, the triple captain, if a double game week is in 25, the triple captain is probably best used then. Whether you've got a Man City double or a Liverpool double as well, I think it's a good option. So let me just talk you into what I've done so far with my team. So as I mentioned, I went early on my transfers. So I transferred out. So I had Son, Salah, and I still got Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I had Gabriel as well. So they were all flagged. Two of those four, I decided to move on quickly. Son being the first one. I don't think I'm going to be in too much of a rush to bring Son back in, as opposed to how much as I would be for Salah. So I may hold on to Salah. And you might think keeping that much money on the bench is risky and tricky, but I think I can maneuver around it. But I'd rather not have to worry about trying to get Salah back in. Son, I may or may not bring him back in when he's back from his Asia Cup antics, shall I say. And the other transfer I made, I had Huang. Sorry, Huang was another flag. Obviously, he's going to the Asia Cup as well. So my straight transfer for Huang was to Alanga. Now, Alanga's been flagged. And obviously, like I said, I transferred out Son for Bowen, and then Bowen's been flagged. So going early to avoid the price rises. So I saved myself 0.3 million, I think, going early, but they both got flagged. Now, I'm tempted to let Bowen ride. Bowen is one of the beasts of the Premier League. I've never known anybody recover from an injury quicker than Bowen, and they're not playing till next weekend. So potentially, even though they're saying he's out till game week 22 or he's out for a while, there's every chance Bowen could be fit to play next Saturday. And I think the same for Alanga as well. I think Alanga won't be played. So the problem we've got with West Ham and Nottingham Forest players is that we both managed to not win our FA Cup third round. So we've both got away replays to lower league teams, I believe. I think theirs is the same, but ours is certainly to Blackpool. So you got to consider there's going to be a midweek game before they play next Saturday. But I don't think either manager would risk Alanga or Bowen in either of those games to have them fit for the weekend. So I think there's a potential chance that Bowen plays. I think there's a really good chance that Alanga's fit for next Saturday. So I don't want to. I've already taken a 0.4 hit because of the Gabriel situation, and I transferred out Gabriel for Tony. And I know some Forest fans are going to hate me for this, but his first game back, he's got a lot to prove. Yes, he hasn't got match sharpness, but he has been playing extensively, playing under 23 games, I think, since October. So he has got some fitness, and you got to treat it as a pre-season. You know, you do your pre-season, and you come into your first game. Have you got match fitness? It's the same situation, but you can still play that first game of the season. So I'm going to treat this as the first game of the season for him after pre-season. And I've just got, even though I think Forest will win at Brentford, at least get a draw from there, I do see Tony scoring, and I needed to have options after potentially losing Bowen as well. So what I'm going to do, obviously Salah's not going to be playing. So Potentially, I'm gonna make the Bowen switch, and I want to talk you through my options. So let me just go back on StreamYard, see if we've got any questions from you guys. Yeah, from the 40 Network. Yeah, hi mate, thank you for jumping in. Yeah, there is that. Um, I'm not 100% sure. I think there's potentially could play, but I am gonna deal with one of those flags. So let's go back into it. I'm gonna deal with one of these flags, and I'm gonna deal with Bowen. I'll take Bowen out, and I want to. In fact, let me show you my options, and I'll probably ignore them all before I go any further with this. Let me just find a slide I want to share with you. Bear with me, guys. Just keep an eye on the ticker. The ticker's running along the bottom, but you got about just under 20 minutes to go until the deadline. So if you do need to make changes, uh, Nikki Spear. Nikki, what do you need to know? Right, I'm gonna. These are the options, right? So, and I'll talk you through my options. I've already got Palmer, so Palmer's there for those of you who aren't, who haven't got him already. But I think Palmer's a nailed on. You got to take him in. Only potential problem with Palmer is that they might have a blank game week in game week 26 if Liverpool make it to the final and Chelsea make it to Liverpool and Chelsea make it to the League Cup final. There'll be a potential blank game week for him in 26, but he's nailed on for me. Other than that, he's a penalty taker. He's so consistent. He can give you big hauls as well. So with his last game week was an 18-point haul, 2 goals and assists, and yeah, so he's capable of doing that. The other options as I go along, Foden. Some people think he's going to be affected by this man's reappearance, but Foden, I think, will still keep his place. I think the one most under threat, if KDB and Haaland are back for game week 22, 23 going onwards, I think the biggest threat is to Alvarez. I don't think Foden's going to miss out for De Bruyne coming back. There is another Man City option as well, and like I said, with a double game week in game week 25, you want to be looking at Man City assets now. Whether you decide to bench boost that week, whether you decide to triple captain that week, you want to start getting Man City players in. So Foden's a top pick for me, but also his stablemate Silva, who's I think he's still only 5% owned. And for me, he did well when I bought him in. I just unfortunately missed out on a couple of hauls when I did take him out, but I took him out to try and fix other positions. So Foden and Silva are up there for me as the potential ones I'm going to get in. Pascal Gross as well, nailed on minutes. The only downside with Pascal Gross and Brighton's fixtures as well going forward, next 7 or 8 fixtures for Brighton are as good as you can get in FPL or in Premier League terms. So Pascal Gross is nailed on. He can play in pretty much any position for them. There's not many nailed on Brighton players. If you want to try and take advantage of their fixture run, but he is top of that list. Only downside for him, he's not on penalty. So if Pedro Porro is playing, there's another potential Brighton pick. Porro will not Pedro Porro, sorry, João Pedro. Sorry, João Pedro. If he's playing, he will take the penalties 100%. So that's the only downside with Gross, but he's nailed on minutes. Look at his returns, and he plays in every position, and he takes most of their set pieces as well. So Gross is a big option for me. KDB will play, but he will be having his minutes managed as Pep and De Bruyne themselves have said. So don't expect him to get 90 minutes over the next 2-3 game weeks, but do expect him to come off the bench and make an impact. He made an impact off the bench in the FA Cup tie, set up a goal. So like he's never been away. He's a top player. There's a reason why he's still over 10 million, even though he's barely kicked a ball for more than 20 minutes this season so far in the league. So definitely an option. KDB, again, looking forward to their double game weeks as well. And Saka, nailed on, again, gets minutes. Downside for me is the fixtures. They might have a blank coming up as well. And for me, he's unlike Palmer, who does get you double-digit hauls. You don't get that with Saka. but he is steady and he's consistent and he is nailed on. Jota's the other one with Salah out. Will Jota get more minutes? But will he be playing on the left? Or will he be playing down the middle? Or will he be used as a super sub, which seems to be the best option? He started in the FA Cup game, in the League Cup game midweek, and didn't do much. And once he was replaced by Darwin, and Darwin came on, and he made a difference. You know, he got the assist, didn't get the goal, got the assist. So Jota, his minutes are a downside for me. Richarlison's the next one on the list. Top player, getting goals. He's got the highest XG of all the players at the moment, but will he be affected by the new signing? Bloody forgetting his name, coming over from Germany. So we've got he's got 4 players. So Nicky's saying he's got 4 players out. Okay, let me look at your team, Nicky. You need to make changes then, Nicky. So these are my options. I've like I say, these are my top options. If you haven't got Palmer in, get him in now. Foden, Gross, and I would say Saka. If you need to make more than a couple of changes, if you do need to take a hit, take a hit. I'm tempted not to use your wild card, Nicky. So these my top 4 options, mate. If you need to get changes in your midfield, especially Palmer, Foden, Gross, and I would go Saka over KDB until we get more minutes out of KDB. So follow that advice. If you can make it now. I'm going to go into make mine before I lose out. So Bowen is out for me, and I'm going to go with. Just been having that conversation with you guys, and I still don't know which one I go for, but I think Foden's leading it for me at the moment. Let me go back to it. It's Foden or Gross for me. I don't like Saka for some reason. Let's have a look at Saka's fixtures quickly. You'll be up there. Like I say, there's a potential blank game week. See, the next couple of fixtures are nice. And then they've got Liverpool at home, game week 23. Palace at home, Forest away. I don't think they'll come and get anything out of City Ground. I'll be there for that game. We got just over 10 minutes, guys, so keep an eye on it. See, this is a problem with doing this, leaving it till the game week deadline. But I wanted to get some content out for you guys, and Gross is the other one. So let's have a look at Brighton's fixtures, and this is really appealing. Look at that. Look at that run of fixtures that we've got. Put a snooze on that. Look at that run of fixtures that we've got. Wolves at home, Luton away next to, and then Crystal Palace at home. Definitely an option. And like I say, he's nailed on minutes. Let's look at his history and his returns. Not so great in the last few game weeks, but he's more than capable. He's more than capable of even a double-digit return. I think I'm going to go with. So I'm going to be Saka or Foden. Give me Saka or Foden. Guys, give me a clue. Do I think C. Richards? Who's C. Richards? If he's a defender, I don't know. I'll have a look in a second, mate. Let me just nail. In fact, let me nail mine in so I can have a look at Nicky's team for him, because I'm here to help you guys as well. So I am going to go with Foden. I'm going to go with Foden. That's me taking a 0.8 hit this week. So all in all, so I had 2 free transfers which I used, like I said, for to get Elanga and Bowen in, which I'm taking Bowen out again. So I've taken 0.8 of a hit for Bowen, take Bowen in and out. But I'm going to lock that in, locked in. I'm not playing free card, wild card or free hit. Confirm the transfer, and let me just make sure he's in my team for this week. Yeah, he is. So if Elanga doesn't play, I've got a first sub of Lascelles to come on. So I had a strong enough bench that I was able to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold with Concert, and Salah can sit on the bench. So at the moment, I've got nearly 25 million, more than 25 million worth of talent sat on the bench. But let's go into, we'll have to have a look at the mini league uh, and try and find Nicky's team, Plessy FC. It's going to be near the bottom somewhere, isn't it? Let's have a look. Bear with me, guys. Ben and Rene, is it now? Okay. So you're shifting the blame a little bit. Oh God, Joe, you're down there as well. Simon Jones, you've just given up, innit? You haven't even bothered playing anymore. Next page. Give me a rough idea where you want, because I missed the first few games. Oh, okay. So you're still near the bottom somewhere. Let me see if you are on this next page, bud. Give me a shout. I must have missed it. Let me go back onto that last page, mate. Maybe I did miss it. Bear with me, guys. This is great content. You got less than 10 minutes at the moment, so make sure your changes are locked in. Go easy on here. Probably just next time I'll just get you one, Nicky. Just jump on with me. Here we are. Nicholas Blackwell. Let's have a look. So you got Trent. Yeah, so you got 4 flags, mate. So I would if you want to go with me, I'm holding on to Salah. Definitely change out Son. So you've got the options that I've mentioned to you regarding. Let me see. In fact, sorry. Let me share that screen. Here we go. Sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't sharing. Here we go. So here we go. Yeah, we can see your flags on here, Nick. So I mean, I'm holding on to Trent, keeping him on the bench because you've got. See, Richard. That's who you meant. Chris Richards. Honestly, couldn't tell you much about him, but if you look at his minutes, looks like he's going to play, mate. So I wouldn't worry about taking him out. Save yourself a transfer and use him, or even Trippier should be back. Trippier should be back for this next game. See, look at it. They've got you got Man City though. So I'd probably put Richards in and have Trippier as your first sub for Trent Alexander-Arnold. So you don't need to make a transfer there, but you do need to have a look at one or two. I would look at Chan and Son replacing and see what that leaves you in the bank, mate. Go through that. Okay, so Nicky, what have you gone with? So Nicky, tell me who you've transferred in and who you've transferred out. Took a 4-point hit. Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst week to take a hit because you won't be alone. Trust me, there was a group that wanted to wait until the FA Cup games were played, which you can see why. And there was a group like myself who decided to go early to beat the price changes. So you can see why I did that as well, because I'm looking further ahead to try and get Salah back in if I take him out, or certainly get Haaland back in. So yeah, hopefully you've managed to do that, Nicky, and you managed to get it done and locked in, and then have a look at how you want to play a team. Now, next subject I want to quickly touch on, because the deadline's less than just over 5 minutes away, is captaincy picks. And who the captaincy options are for this week. I'll go back to my team just briefly, and I have got my captaincy on Palmer, and I think I'm happy with that, and I think I'm going to stick with that. And my vice captaincy is on is on Ivan Toney. Sorry, guys, don't shoot me down. What I wanted to do is split up the captaincy and vice captaincy to this games being played this weekend and the games being played next weekend. But I do think Palmer, from what I've got, it was either gonna be Palmer or now Foden as the options. Foden and Palmer, yeah, they're playing the first game week. We'll play tomorrow. But that's a local derby. You know, that's a West London derby, Chelsea and Fulham. I'm gonna stick with Palmer as my captaincy pick. We have got a poll going, in fact. Let me see. Oh, let me just shut up. Let me just mute me on there. Let's have a look how this poll's going. Gone with Palmer. Yeah, Palmer's winning 50% at the moment. I think I'm happy to stick with that. Let me just go back to you, Nikki. Let me see if you've got what I've done. Gone Palmer and Foden for Son. Yeah. Okay, so fantastic. So you've made the changes. What have you gone with captaincy, Nikki? Let me know. You don't have to thank me, mate. More than happy to help. But yeah, if you in future, mate, if you want to jump on the stream and join me, you're more than welcome to do so. I'm going to look to collab with some of the guys. So there's a few channels, guys. I want you to in the description, I'll get my words out in a second. In the description, there's a link to Planet FPL. They have done an amazing video on chip strategy. Really encourage you to watch that video. There's Sudge and James on that channel. Fantastic, guys. Give them a shout out. Well, if you do go on there, leave a comment saying that you were sent by FPL World or sent by Ez at FPL World. Palmer captain and Foden vice captain. That's fine. Like I say, I've split it over 2 game weeks just in case. So I've gone with Palmer and Tony. But yeah, Palmer and Foden are probably the 2 top captaincy picks for this weekend, to be honest. There's not going to be many arguing with me. I think Saka's in there for some people, but I haven't got Saka in my team. Please definitely watch that video. Guys, you got a couple of minutes left, so just keep an eye on the ticker. Definitely watch a video from Planet FPL. The link's in the description. Leave a comment in the video to say that you were sent by Ez at FPL World. Really top information. And even with that, we still don't know yet. So wait for game week 22 before making any major changes and major decisions in terms of when you want to use your wild card. The wild card is, for me, the most powerful chip or tool in this game. And you want to make sure you're using it wisely. So we know there's going to be a potential couple of game week blanks that I want to talk to you about as well. So if Liverpool get to the League Cup final, Chelsea get to the League Cup final, game week blanks in game week 26 for them, and game week 29 for the FA Cup quarter final. So depending on how many Premier League teams make it that far, we could see a lot of blanks. So it's definitely worth holding on to your chips for that, because that's potentially when you'll use your bench boost or your free hit. And if we know, once we've got that information, which we will have in the next couple of weeks, then you can start strategizing, but as best when to use it. And I will do a video purely on chip strategy and give you guys my take on when is best to use them. So yeah, the bench boost. Yeah, it's probably, there's a few even content creators that got that chip out of the way early on. It's potentially one that's quite annoying. And when best to use it. But so we'll probably see double game weeks in game week 34 and 37. And by the time you get to game week 37, the title could have been dealt with. Relegation probably will be dealt with by then. And there may not be too much to fight for in terms of European places. So you could get to game week 37 having held on to your chip, and there's not really that many games that are important that you're going into. So let me just double check with 30 seconds to go of transfer window of this deadline. Sorry, but I've done everything that I need to do. I locked in my team, captain, vice captain. Yep. Is that all locked in? Yep. Saved my team. I did save it, didn't I? Yep. So guys, deadline is almost upon us. Thank you for joining me. I do appreciate your interaction, Nikki, um, and Footy Network. Shout out to you guys. Make sure you head over there and subscribe to them as well. And yeah, I'm looking to do a collab with. So there's FPL now. Please go over to his channel as well. He's another Forest fan. So there's a couple of us. There's Mark Southern, FPL now, and myself that are Forest fans that do. Uh, that. Oh yeah, Footy Network is. Oh fuck. Yeah, I realise now who Footy Network is. Footy Network is our other FFTV channel. Sorry, I didn't realize. I clearly haven't subscribed to you. So I will subscribe to Footy Network. Make sure you do. And guys, make sure you go onto FFTV, download the Sofa Score app as well. You still got the offers going on with Fantasy Football Hub, and I'll be using those tools because I want to show you the planner for the game weeks, Ben Krellin's planner, which is on Fantasy Football Hub, and you can only get that by signing up through the link. So take advantage of it. I think it's still got the 30 days free. You'll get at least 7 days free out of it. So please make sure you go over there and you subscribe or you sign up and get some information on there. But thank you guys. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I wasn't even paying attention. It's been a long week. There's been a lot going on. Got a lot coming in the next few weeks, but I'm going to definitely try and still get some content out for you guys. Really appreciate you joining me. And look, I'll see you later on if you're a FFTV member for our member stream, the Zorro stream. Don't know what that's all about, but if you want to find out, make sure you tune in. Hit the like button on your way out, guys. Subscribe if you're new. Trying to get to 500. Yeah, really appreciate everybody who does support the channel, and hope to see you soon. Come on, you Reds.